won't torture you anymore with that. This Gould Bazooka. Interesting part of this photo here is appears to be Venus up there. It's too small for the moon. Three astronomers out there maybe enlighten me on that. And down towards the center there's a little black dot there. Very strange. Don't know what that is. Probably just a UFO. You know, they're always flying over the house, buzzing the house. And this, of course, is yours truly. And I believe this was taken up on the Wairika. And of course, I'm always behind the camera, so I try to stay out of view. But I spent most of the time taking pictures, and we were dredging up on a little small river up there. Okay, this interesting shot here. This is what I call the Dale Mobile, and put together by a fellow up in Alaska. And on the front, those look like tractor treads. They actually are. It's called the mat track. And you take your tires off and you bolt these things on, one for each wheel, and it turns it into a track layer. Very interesting concept. And the front there's a boom on the front. Actually, he put a snow plow on there, took off the blade and put a boom on there, and then he suspended the Gould Bazooka from that. I did was to be able to dredge in the river. And he had a camera on the front and then a little TV inside the cab where you could just lower and raise the thing and just get in that very 32 degree or above water to dredge. You wouldn't have to get out and get in it. Well, this is another picture of the Dale Mobile, and hopefully it wasn't dredging in the snow, but you can see in the very front there's the bazooka is being suspended there by that. Looks like he's got a crane on there, so I guess he's automated the thing a little bit, and he can raise it with a pulley and the arm. So, and the bazooka is off to the right. It's kind of hidden in the snow there, but he's pulled it out so you can see it. Normally the bazooka is inside the bed of the truck. A little better picture, not so much blue in it, about the same thing, the Dale Mobile. Okay, this is a shot of the Dale Mobile, but it's the rear end, and in the back there's a diesel pump and all the equipment's. He's getting ready to head out to a river to dredge. You can see it's pretty rough country. That road is a trip in itself, but it's just a very steep canyon in there. Pretty rough country, Alaska. And this view, he's actually showing the thing in operation there. He's got he's in the river with his mat tracks on his vehicle, and it looks like he's sitting on a sandbar there right now. But probably he parked it there so he could take a picture of himself. And this is the river. I guess he was getting ready to dredge here in Alaska. I could say about the only way once you get inside there, the walls are so steep, you've got to literally truck down the river. I don't know what you do if you get in where it's deeper than the truck. I don't think there's any flotation on that device. This interesting looking was one of Dale's inventions there. He modified the nozzle and he put that little tire on there. And the idea was to make a device he could stick over a crack, and I'll show you a little better view. There's 4 jets in the bottom. It hit a little switch there, and those jets would water would come firing out of there, and then the gold would be sucked up inside that tire. So the tire was basically a seal. Here's a little better view of the jets. You can see the jets are 4 jets on the outside. The very inside 2, is the suction. So that's the part that is part of the bazooka that goes into the bazooka. So once you blow the material out, it captures it inside that tire, which is sucked up immediately, so there's no loss. Very interesting concept. And this is a picture of the diesel pump. Looks pretty pricey, but I forget what the output was. It was a fairly large pump, like 600 GPM or more, to run the other devices that he had on there. And this is a picture of the Gould Bazooka, same part of Dale's rig. I designed especially for him. This was actually a 6-inch, and I put 2 jets on the front, little experimental thing. He wanted a larger suction, so to get that I mounted 2 smaller jets with a manifold, so he could develop a lot more suction than what normally I would use on the bazooka. Another shot of Dale's rig there. He had the bazooka behind it, and he's got it all laid out. Looks like he's getting ready to go to work, so he's on that little sandbar there, unloading the truck, getting ready to do some stuff. And actually, this is a picture taken rather right before a rainstorm there. It's getting sky's getting a little angry there, but I thought it was an interesting shot to share that with you. Again, this is my son Reggie Jr., and he's swimming with the dolphins in Hawaii. I wish I'd had that opportunity, but I've never been to Hawaii. This is my son again, Reggie Jr., and Kevin's to the right. Kevin was brought along with never forget his name. Anyway, Dave Thorpe. I'd get it sooner or later. Senior moment there. Anyway, my son's teaching Kevin to pan. He'd never gold panned before, so they're just up in the Wairika area. Another shot of Reg and Kevin, and my son's got a pan in his hand, and he's showing him this is how you do it. And Kevin was a pretty good understudy. He picked up very quickly the concept of panning. This is my son Reggie Jr., a husky boy. He could press 400 pounds. He was strong as an ox, and he was an X-ray tech in life, ran the CT machine. So there he's taken off the plug in the bottom, and he's going to empty the contents into a bucket. So once you remove the plug, you turn the pump on, you let it drain. About a 5-minute cleanup, very very fast cleanup on the Gould Bazooka. And my son Reggie Jr. again, and he's digging a hole. We worked on the same hole for several years. We'd come back and the thing would be all filled up from the high rains come through, so it would be like starting over, but the hole would be filled with a lot of good material. So every time we worked that hole, even though we redug it out, we'd get gold. And this is my son again, and he's posing with his gold pan. I don't know if that's a little piece of gold in there or not, but that's my son Reggie Jr. He decided to try his thing at skydiving there. Looks like they have a lot of fun. Actually, they made, besides still pictures, they actually made a movie. There was another skydiver there, and he's got pictures of him from the time he left the plane to the time he lands on the ground. And of course, I can't show that here, but yeah, he just had a ball. Oh, this is me on the left, watching, of course, make sure everything's done right. my son Reggie Jr., and we're getting ready to do a cleanup. We're discussing right now how to do it, and so this is in the preliminary stage of the cleanup. And here's my son Reggie Jr. He's got the new rotator jet in his hand there. That was a new Vortex Generator I was experimenting with, which is now part of the product that makes a centrifuge out of my nozzle. So still a little ad there for Garden Valley. That's my son again with my grandchildren, Kayla and Caitlin. My son, he's working on that hole. Looks like he's got the whole nozzle and everything down in the hole, and he's hanging onto the hose right now. So we made that hole probably over 4 feet deep. In fact, I fell in it one day. The ground gave loose when I was standing there, and ended up bumping my noggin on a rock, and almost ruined my whole trip. Another picture of my son, and this river's a little bit bigger. This is another location, and it's probably, at that time there was quite a bit of water in it. Normally the thing during the summer there's probably just a trickle that comes through it, so good place to do some exploring there. At one time there was a huge gold mine that fed that river, so there's still the old tailing piles that the water goes through. And this was our campsite, the tents in the background there, and there was our little shelter. Of course, we cooked outside. There was no improvements in this campground. There was nothing, absolutely nothing there. No tables, no fireplace, no nothing. So we just roughed it. If you didn't brain it, you didn't have it. So I liked that kind of camping. It was fun. And this is another picture of it. You see my son, he's cooking on the Coleman stove there, and he's cooking up some breakfast there. That was the first morning we were there, and I was pretty hungry and getting ready to start. It was pretty cold that morning. Another shot of my son Reggie, just a close-up. You can see there was nowhere to put the stuff. We had just stuff spread out in the ground. We were hoping the bears didn't visit us, because it was some rough country up there, and the bears were noted to come in and trash the camp. But I kept all the meat in the locker inside the truck, so hopefully it wouldn't tear my camper apart getting in it. Another picture of my son Reggie, and he just enjoying himself that evening. We were kicking back. After about 8 hours of dredging there, we're pretty well pooped. And this is another location, and that's the experimental rotator jet. I called it the handheld bazooka. It was just more or less a thing to test out my rotator jet Vortex Generator design, and it works quite well. It did a fair job capturing. Actually, when we got finished there, I didn't expect any gold to be in it, and there was probably a quarter of an ounce of gold, which surprised the heck out of me, because it wasn't designed for that. It was just to do a little testing with. And we're back on that creek in Wairika, and I said he's working on that hole, making it bigger. That's my son Reggie. He's showing what he recovered in the pan. I didn't zoom up on it, but he was doing a cleanup there after we were dredging. So we got quite a bit of gold. One day we got almost an ounce of gold. Okay, now here's that mysterious object there. You be the judge of what that is. It just kind of showed up on the very first slide I showed you. When I tried to blow up, it got too grainy, so maybe you can figure out what it was. I just call it unknown object. Yeah, this is me again. Keep showing up in here. I'm doing my usual thing of taking the pictures. This is up in Wairika. And this is our camp, and we're just showing the group of miners that we had up there. Dave Thorpe and his son Chris Thorpe. My son to the very left, Reggie Gould. And Kevin, and I don't remember Kevin's last name, and I think there's one other fellow there, his name escapes me. And a close-up of the mining crew there. And this is a picture of me, and I've either lost my way or I'm trying to observe the situation. I think we're getting ready for a cleanup, or I'm looking at the pump. The pump is right below me there. Maybe it ran out of gas. I'm not sure what happened, but I think I found my way back to camp. And here's that hole we're working again. I think it may be Chris Thorpe that's working that hole. We traded off, and it was amazing the amount of gold we kept finding in that thing. From year to year, we'd come back, we'd work the same old hole. It was just ridiculous. That meant there was a lot of gold traveling in that creek. So all we did is we made a spot for it to dump into. Yeah, that's Chris, and he's now he's standing in the hole. We had that thing where it was almost up to the waist at one time, so we just kept working it. Well, this is can't see him, but Chris is in the hole again, and he's getting there deeper and deeper and deeper. There's a picture of Kevin, and he's standing right in front of the output of the nugget trap on the bazooka, and he was curious about everything. I think he was probably about 12 years old in this picture. There's the motley crew again. What can I say? Motley miners. We had a hell of a good time, though. Well, this is a picture of Steve Littner, and we've changed places. This is up on the Yuba. This is part of our early development. These pictures aren't in order, but this is one of the more advanced designs when we developed the underwater dredge. If you look on the left, the nugget trap, that's the experimental one. We hadn't finalized the nugget trap yet. Not sure how this got out of order, but that's we're back to Alaska. And that's rear end of Dale Mobile's truck here, and for some reason he's got the bazooka to the very left there. He's just leaving all the equipment in, and bazooka looks like it's on a long hose there, so he's actually in the water. This is the front of Dale's truck again. This was up on the Consumus, and it's the Gould Bazooka. I believe that's the 4-inch, and beautiful place to work the shadows on the water. It was a Really a pretty, the water was quite wide there. It was probably a good 100 feet across. This seedy looking character is me in my mining attire. And normally there's a dredge hose that's supposed to be on there. I don't know if I was just trying to take a picture or what, but where the nozzle is hooked right onto it, what I was trying to really demo was on the very bottom, there's kind of a greenish looking thing connected to the nugget trap. That's actually an adapter I put in there for diamond recovery. And it's just a piece of aluminum that I put some grease on. And the miners tell me that's the way they catch the diamonds, that the water, that the material goes right over it, but for some reason diamonds stick in the grease, and I can't tell you why. I'm just repeating what I've been told. It's a picture, I believe that's a 6-inch, the Mighty Mo. I retired that design. The price of steel just got ridiculous for the 6-inch, so I stopped building them. And this was up on the Consumus there. We could actually drive after a while down through the riverbed. You don't drive new cars down there because you're going through scratchy bushes, tearing the hell out of your truck. And that's Steve Hand to the left and Steve Littner to the right. And we're unloading the truck and getting ready to set up to do some little work with. This shot is actually showing all three bazookas, the 4-inch on top, the middle one is the 5-inch Gould Bazooka, and the bottom one is the 6-inch Gould Bazooka. And I just zoomed up on the nozzles to show you what the early nozzles look like. We've refined them quite a bit now, but this is all part of the R&D, and this is probably a couple years before we finally came up with our final design. And again, this is the Frico Nugget, 201 ounces of crystalline gold, which makes it jewelry specimen gold, and probably worth 3 times the price of what the normal gold would sell for. This is a picture of Jack St. Dennis's gold, and I had those counted up. The bottles on the bottom are all 2 ounces each. The big ones on either side are 3 ounces, and the little ones are 1 ounce of gold, plus all the gold nuggets. There's a lot of money sitting in there, and when gold's $1,400 an ounce there, there's probably I don't know. I figured just take the count and multiply it by 1,400. And this is the cleanup we did in Wairika. This was the 1 ounce of gold that we found, and we had a very good day. Came out of that big hole, and I say each time we went back to that hole the next year, it'd be filled up and it'd be full of gold again. This interesting shot was done by a friend of mine that came to the GPA show. This is a GPA show in Placerville, and you can see that plastic model that I built, the demo. That's what I built it for, to demonstrate it, and had a lot of people that were interested came by to look at it. This old boy here, this is old Gus Scratchy Bottom. No, that doesn't seem right. Gus Higgins, that was his name, Gus Higgins, and yeah, he was a salty old bird there, but we tolerated him there because he was such an excellent miner. This is another salty old dog there, myself, and my shirt says it all. This is the final design of the Gould Bazooka nozzle. And that little red hose in there was the new rotator jet that I talked about, or the Vortex generators now call it. The only difference is the main jet is to the right. That creates the main suction for the nozzle. And that little jet, it puts a spin on it, turns it into a centrifuge. And this is how I'm able to capture that very fine powder gold or flour gold and glacier gold. Glacier gold is very, very fine, and you could only do this, of course, in a tube like the bazooka. It wouldn't work in a regular sluice box, so this was a long couple of years of development before I came up with a final design. I'd like to take credit for this one, but somebody actually sent me a picture of this. I can't even tell you how big that is. It looks like it's about 3 feet in diameter, but it could be merely a 1 ounce nugget, but it's very pretty. The designs on it are quite unusual. I have never seen any gold that had it looks like it's been through a lot of melting process and forced into a small area. It's undergone some tricky stuff when it was formed. Okay, now we're back to the picture that shows what I call Venus there, and a little white dot to the very top, inch from the top, and then down a little, about a half an inch lower, that little black dot, unknown at this time. You figure it out. So here's a blow up of the black dot, and it gets grainier as you try to blow it up. There's also a little white dot I just noticed to the right. I have no idea what this stuff is. And we're just going to have a series of pictures here. This is the sunrises and sunsets. This is the actually sunrise behind my house. I live up in the nature's country, and it's a beautiful place when you get all these beautiful colors. After a rainstorm, the sun glitters off, and you get all kinds of blues and purples, and it's quite something. Okay, we got another shot of what I call Venus in the upper right. Much too small for the moon, and then down the lower left-hand corners that unknown object. We'll call it a UFO for lack of a better word. Well, that concludes the presentation. This is Joe Bazooka signing off. Hope you enjoyed it. Get out there and get some of that gold. Get your share of it. And if you don't get any, what the hell? Have a good time. Take the family out there. Buy some gold pans. Teach the kids how to pan. You never have more fun in your life. I've been doing it for probably 50 years, and I really enjoyed it. My whole family was involved. My wife liked to go pan. My son enjoyed it. We've always had a good time. So get out there, enjoy yourself.